Hello, this is a review for the Geomag Mechanics 222 piece magnetic construction set. So I went ahead and put together with my 7-year-old this little deal here, and I'm going to go ahead and walk you through a little bit of some of the nuances that you want to pay attention to on this set. It is something initially that we really had to spend some time teaching my 7-year-old daughter what to do and how to put these together. These panels are something that are not essential to the construction. I put them in mostly for the video. My daughter doesn't have a lot of interest in putting these in, but as you can see, they just slide in and out. It's not too difficult. You don't want to be too rough with it, or you will pop one of the arms off here. So the big thing is, if you look at the directions, I know you really have to kind of just you're following the pictures on the directions, and sometimes it's a little confusing. And so I thought I would walk through, at least on this one, what you want to look at, and that's where they start you off, and how does that translate into the base that you have down here. And essentially these columns here sit on, they will sit on the smooth side up like that, and then you'll put the column on, and then if there's and that's also where you may have like a marble or like one of those steel marbles. You'll want to pay attention to how that's supposed to be setting in some of these. This one really doesn't have that for the most part, except when you get up here, you'll see that like in here where the marble sits in, right in here. So you want to make sure that you have it set up right so the marble will rest in there. Okay, so the biggest thing to remember about these is you want to watch the polarity, and they give you a little polarity stick here, the red. And essentially what happens is, if you have, I'm trying to do this one-handed, but see if it sticks, that is not what you want, and that's why. And I will explain, or I'll show why in just a minute. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that they actually repel one another. See, so it does not want to stick. It's kind of repelling there, and here's why. These function, as you can see, as the magnets as the steel marbles get closer together, because you have the polarity on this side of the ball, of the marble, being one that repels, and you have it set up the same way over here, you're going to have movement the closer they get together. If you reverse that, and let's say you had this one, you weren't using your handy polarity stick, and this one was an attraction, then they would pretty much just come together and stick. You wouldn't have any movement. So even though you have this little thing that turns it, and I put one over here because it's a more solid base, so that's my preference, is to have it over here. But I have a 7-year-old who's also operating it, and occasionally she gets a little rambunctious on the one over here and she'll tip it over. But that is one of the things to watch, is make sure that the polarity is correct. And on the directions, you'll see on the little green arrows, and that tells you that you have to have repulse on the polarity. So this little green arrow with that steel marble, so that means that all these pieces here that connect to a marble, I'll grab one, that connect to one of these, should repulse on the polarity stick, and then you'll be able to get movement on this. Now the the interior ones, you don't have to worry about that. It's just these exterior ones, at least on this project. There are other projects where you have to worry about that, but on this project you really don't. And as I said, you know, the panels are easy to put together, but you can also take one of these arms off doing it. So my 7-year-old, just that's not her favorite thing to do, and she doesn't really care about how it looks. And then attaching the base, this down here, it's pretty simple. You just have to connect it like that. See? And the nice thing is you also have, and I don't want to use the polarity stick or I'll stick everything to it. In here you kind of create like a bearing. So there's a top and a bottom to it. And some of the steel marbles go on the top. 4 will go on the top, 4 will go on the bottom. And how you can tell what needs to go where is the ones on the top, they'll actually have like these little 2 plastic pieces, so you can't put a marble on the bottom. So that means that'll be a spot that the marble will go on top, and then that's what allows it to turn like so. And as you can see, turning it turns that as well. And then the instructions are just you just follow it somewhat patiently. When you have a 7-year-old, I know that can be difficult, but you do have to just kind of walk them through very, very slowly and patiently, or else it's going to be a frustrating experience. But if you kind of get the basics down, the polarity, which side these have to be turned on in order for the marbles to rest, and also in order for these connections to be the way you want them to be, and then just the design itself, finding something that you're interested in. It's a lot of fun. For us, it's been a great learning experience, or teaching experience with our daughters. Our 7-year-old loves magnets. Actually, all of our daughters love magnets, but our 7-year-old is kind of fascinated with magnets, and so this is right up her alley. Our 4-year-old loves how she can spin this thing around and get something else to move, and I don't think she quite has it all figured out yet, but it's been a lot of fun, and I would recommend it. As I said in the beginning, you're probably going to have to spend some time with your child to make sure that they understand the basics, and hopefully after they get that, it'll be easy for them to get creative and go beyond the design of what's here. And you can do very simple projects with this as well. Construction's been great. I haven't seen anything, no magnets are falling out of these arms here or anything like that, or out of these connectors. We have other sets that are older, but the same type of principle, and I've been very impressed with the way these all fit together. And just in general, the only negative is it would be nice if these the columns here kind of clipped in a little bit more, because as you can see, it can get a little tippy. And as I said, if you have a rambunctious 7-year-old who's spinning this, or something like that, it can get a little tippy. And then I have this in the box. You really do want to have it on a hard, flat surface. Originally for the video, I was trying to slide it onto a blanket, and it just was not sitting well. So that's it. I hope you have a lot of fun with it if you decide to get it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It's definitely not the expert. I had to YouTube just to understand some of the basics, but I try to do that ahead of time, just so if my daughters have questions, at least they're not stuck with me reading instructions for 45 minutes before we can put something together. So hope that helped. Have a great day. Thanks.